Well, hello, my beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading for the end of October, right through the end of November 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about to pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using guide chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Scorpio, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. The first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile is the unified energy of how things come together, okay? Also, it's worth noting what a twin flame dynamic and relationship is, because if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive, that is not a twin flame connection. That is more likely to be a false flame connection that really will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time, okay? So let's get straight to your reading and see what comes out there for you. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to be aware of regarding their twin flame dynamic at this time? What is it in its present form, and what shall it aspire to be? Can you highlight how it will transform in the future? What is going on with my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to be aware of in this present moment, and what is to occur in the future with their twin flame at this moment and in the future to come? Can you please highlight? I'm actually being given an energy straight away of two people like having their hands out towards each other, but not quite like touching each other or reaching out. So I feel this energy, I mean, symbolically, it looks like two people wanting to reach out, but at the same time, there's like, I mean, it just feels like they're not connecting. So it doesn't feel like they're out of reach. It feels like there could be just that little bit more, and maybe you could like reach each other. Maybe both of you want to reach each other, but in a different way. Symbolically, it's like you want to reach inside and understand what's going on there, especially since you got the knowledge card. But I had to give you what I can see in the water because I'm scrying at the same time as doing your reading, and that image came up straight away there. I feel like both of you want to reach out to each other in this moment, even if you're not connecting. So this could be symbolic that right now you're not connected, but you want to reach out to each other. You've got something to say, something on your minds. But I'll leave that image there because maybe it's a piece of art or something you're going to see as a symbol soon. But yeah, let's leave that there and get the rest of your cards and your energy. I want you to be aware that a twin flame dynamic, of course, you already know this, it's magnetic. You're drawn to each other, and there is a push and pull energy to it because, of course, there tends to be a separation period when you connect to a twin flame dynamic. Not everybody gets to meet their twin in each lifetime, but when you do, both parties feel the same. It is an overwhelming experience to the point where you may feel obsessed about the energy. You can't stop thinking about them. They can't stop thinking about you. It is physically intense, mentally intense. You feel them like no other, and there's like an unspoken bond that you may not have experienced before. That's definitely a twin flame dynamic. So if you are questioning whether you have met your twin and you feel that way, definitely a twin flame dynamic. I'm also seeing right now two magpies. Now this image has come up before for someone's sign. I'm not sure who, maybe not for a twin flame dynamic, but I'm seeing two magpies. So 2 magpies, of course, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy. Okay, so yep, symbolic of joy. I mean, the outcome energy for both of you right now, soulmate energy, loyalty, very important, trust, of course, companionship. So I will get to the rest of your cards, but I want you to be aware that a twin flame dynamic, it serves a purpose. Okay, it is a relationship like no other. Not everybody wants to take the twin flame journey when they meet their twin, because it often means a separation period which can make you feel lonely, isolated, lost. But it is in that dynamic that you rediscover, redefine, and connect to yourself on a deeper level. That's the purpose of a twin flame dynamic. Now, when you meet your twin, it is, as I said, all-consuming, but the relationship itself serves a purpose where both parties are triggered in order to focus on themselves. So whilst it is a spiritual awakening rather than an actual romantic relationship, because I always say, do not wait for your twin, because sometimes the separation period is weeks, months, years, decades, and you cannot rely on your twin to come back to you in the time frame that you are ready for the connection, okay? I always say breathe, relax, because when you're meant to reconnect to your twin, it just happens. You know, when I met my twin, I was a runner, and I was running away from my emotions. I'd been broken in a previous experience. I thought I was unlovable. I had nothing to offer, and all of those horrible emotions were swirling within me. And suddenly, of course, I met my twin, and it was all consuming. And I loved that person. And, you know, I wanted to shout from the mountaintops, I'm in love, let's do this. But my fear kept me very quiet, very still in my soul. And I was actually running away from the wounds that I had, running away from a part of myself. But I did go away and work on myself. I did keep my twin at arm's length. They did try to love me in my then present form, and it became unbearable, so they stepped back, of course, and then we both went away, did our healing, and the universe, I kid you not, in a sea of billions of people in a city, I kept bumping into my twin, because the universe says you will come back together when there is divine timing, and it happened on more than one occasion. So the universe will find a way to get you back towards your twin, so relax. You know, step into the process of, you know, your healing. You know, twin flame dynamic, it actually prepares both twins, really, to release any lower vibrational energy that keeps either party stuck in unhealthy attachments, toxic patterns, addictive cycles, or even fear, self-loathing, trust issues. You know, all of this stuff. There tends to be an abandonment issue as well when it comes to a twin flame dynamic there. And it's a very intense inner vibrational transformation. But it is a personal journey of discovery, and it is one that must be done alone. You know, you need to come together in a union once you discover your true purpose and embrace unconditional love for self. And only then can the reunion process take place, but also be sustainable, because your twin keeps resurfacing and wanting to come back to you because they love you. They're drawn to you and vice versa, but there is the space in between. I always describe twin flames like magnets, both identical in frequency. When you meet each other, you know, it's like you're the same. You're meeting a different version of you, as it were. You feel so connected, but it's because the frequency is identical. You are a match. You may even have noticed that both of you may have had very similar experiences in life. And, you know, the true purpose of a twin flame dynamic is to recognize that two magnets, because you're drawn to each other and energetically you're connected, you're bonded through each lifetime, you know, you come towards each other. But if you know, like magnets, if there's two magnets that share the same frequency, they attract each other, but also repel each other. There is that space in between. They want to be with each other, but also they can't quite make it work because of all this stuff. So there needs to be a frequency change. And that frequency change is within yourself. It's within the magnet. You are the magnet. Your person is the magnet. Okay? So I feel it's important to recognize that when you meet your twin, it is a mirrored experience. Projections of fear into the relationship. So when your twin is looking at you, my beautiful Scorpio, they're seeing parts of themselves that they have been running away from their whole life. The fears, the anxieties, the need to step up, the need to love themselves in order to embrace the pure love that is on offer there. And it is a formed sacred union. So they realize that it is a sacred bond that they share with you like no other. But, you know, they also reflect back to you your greatest strengths and your weaknesses. So if there's any fears or anxieties, they will be amplified within the union so that both of you cannot ignore them, and you must heal them before you can come back together in a union. So it's important to recognize that people who've had some sort of difficulty or pain, because twin flames often share that, before you even meet your twin, you will have gone through something very challenging that perhaps is remaining unhealed, and that's why it gets amplified there as well. So when unconditional love comes into the mix, then basically both parties tend to feel overwhelmed, but the chaser tends to surrender to the union. They want to open up to that love, even though it feels vulnerable and raw. But the runner, you know, they talk themselves out of it. They push their twin away. They don't want to, otherwise they wouldn't keep coming back. You know, it's not that they're coming back out of convenience. I want you to be aware of that. You also need to be aware of the dynamics between a twin flame and a false flame, because a false flame, you know, and even karmics, they will trigger you without evolving. There's no lesson. No one's learning. No one's trying to make it work. No one's trying to understand parts of themselves. You know, you'll know when you are growing from the experience, when you're learning more about yourself, your values, your boundaries. That is when you are aware that, you know, it's more likely to be your twin, because you are growing from the experience. So that's something that's coming out there. Now I need to go one more, because there's a lot of uncertainty in your connection right now. I mean, you can become a couple in your future, but there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Maybe that's why I'm seeing two people, their hands not quite reaching each other or understanding each other. And I feel actually that this person that you're dealing with, very inconsistent. You don't need me to tell you that, but I do see them making some radical changes within themselves. This person, thanks so much, I'm so grateful. This is a very challenging energy that just came through there, okay? Don't shoot the messenger when I say this. It's almost like the love that they have for you feels like they restricted it, and now it's like it's dying inside, or a part of them feels like it's dying, or it's like they still have feelings for you, but they can't somehow express themselves, and it feels like it's, I don't even know what that is that my guides are giving me. I'll always be honest. I'm not going to make something up for you if I can't quite grasp it. It's like this person, you awaken something within them that was all-consuming and overwhelming. They tend to be quite precise, compartmentalized in their life. You showed them a passion that helped them really come out of themselves, and they have this love within themselves for you that was really blossoming into something, and they shut it down. And it's almost like that beautiful, it's kind of like this beautiful flower that, you know, it's like they cut it short too quickly out of fear. There was a knee-jerk reaction with this, and they just didn't know how to come back to you, or they just didn't know how to return, because they still feel this. They're still keeping like some sort of hope alive, but they feel it's like the opportunity, or the window of opportunity to connect to you, it's like it's dying away, even though they've still got emotions. I mean, looking at your energy, you feel very conflicted about this, but I feel like you have decided to move on or remove yourself from this energy. You're learning a lot of lessons, okay? But I feel with that Five of Wands energy, now the Five of Wands is like almost, I don't want to say you're competing with each other, but it almost feels like a bit of a battle with this person. They're battling with something, and it's like you got caught up in the crossfire of this, whatever this is. I'll have to dig a little bit deeper with this person, but Five of Pentacles, this person definitely got an abandonment issue. I would say this person is so all-consumed with worry. This person, I also feel this person, there's something about money with this person as well. So either, and this is not going to resonate with all of you, either they fear not having enough money, or they have some debt, is what I'm seeing there. Maybe some of you are dealing with someone who was a gambler. I'm not getting that 100%, but this person, there's something about money or finances in their energy. Now, of course, love is love, right? So it shouldn't really be a factor when it comes to being in a relationship, but there's something here about needing to step up or stepping into a position where they feel worthy of your love. And for them, the connection is money or stability, that they can offer a platform of something that's coming out strongly in one of their fears. Okay, but we'll get to their energy in a moment. They're very inconsistent right now, very in and out, and there's a lot of regret. This person regrets having a knee-jerk reaction. So what I'm seeing is like two people that perhaps took steps back from each other to the point where it got so far away. And I feel at the core of this, the very core of this dynamic that I'm picking up on, there's a misunderstanding. Okay, and you're very intuitive, my beautiful Scorpio. What I'm being given is like they have something, it feels very private to them. There's something in them that they maybe not have shared with you, or maybe they have, and you kind of like don't see it as an issue, but they see something as an issue, and they kind of took like a bit of a step back at the beginning of the dynamic, and you felt it immediately, and you're like, what is this? So you felt hesitancy or a pulling back, and it's like they took a baby step back and you took like 4 strides back, like, whoa, what is this? So it felt then that there was a monumental shift, and they felt then that you stepped back so monumentally that they were like, oh, and then they stepped back. So I feel there's something here where there's a misunderstanding. I mean, we'll get to the root cause of it. I mean, it will become clear in your future with this person. There is a conversation in the future about what went down. But yeah, that's what I'm getting straight away from whoever I'm picking up on right now. But your first card there is the books, okay? And I want you to be aware, this is just coming through as well as a little reminder. This is something my guides gave me, but sometimes, you know, people ask, if twin flames love each other so much, why don't they just say it? Okay, why don't they just say how they feel? Well, twin flames, especially if they're coming from a place of being wounded or abandoned in the past, or, you know, they have some sort of trauma, you know, they find it hard to articulate their feelings, which I feel your person finds it really hard to say how they feel. Okay, it's like they come up empty. It's almost like they feel so overwhelmed by the love that they have for you that words don't do it justice. And I know that sounds so corny, but this person is like, they cannot articulate their feelings from a healthy place. Okay, it's almost like the depth of their love has triggered their fears, every fearful emotion to the surface, and it weighs heavy on their mind to the point where, you know, they lean into unhealed responses. Whenever they try to express themselves, they kind of clam up, and it's like a way to protect their heart from being hurt. This person has been abandoned, maybe in so many ways in life. So this could be by family, it could be by friends, it can be by relationships. This person, they feel very isolated and alone, and I'm not here to give anyone an excuse or a way out or take anyone's side or give anyone a free pass. People need to own their stuff, okay? Take accountability, responsibility for actions, because every action has a consequence. And I feel this person regrets the actions because it has led to a consequence of two people being very separate when really they wanted to be together, okay? So that's coming through there as well. We have the books for your energy. So you right now are in a period of learning. I feel this is important to recognize. You got number 26. When you reduce it, 2 + 6 is 8, the number of the self. So it tells me that you're learning about what you're capable of. You're learning about your boundaries. You're learning about your triggers and fears. There's a little bit of an inner battle with you right now. I feel you let this person get so close to you, and not everybody gets close to you. They got in. They got in skin deep. Heart deep is what my guys just said. They got into your raw emotions, and I feel that you're really conflicted. There's an inner battle because how can you love to this depth of emotions and, you know, feel that they feel the same way? However, it feels like everything is lost and bereft. So you're trying to understand this person. You're trying to understand the conflict within this person as well, is what I'm seeing there. And you're constantly questioning, exploring every avenue. But remember, every avenue of exploration is something outside of yourself. It is you coming up with scenarios or kind of answers that perhaps you're not going to get from this person. And these are kind of like, I don't want to say a waste of your time because you're processing something, but you're trying to work out what this person's deal is, or why there's conflict, or why, this person is so inconsistent, when the twin flame journey is about dropping the connection and focusing inwards. It's more of, as I said, a journey of self-discovery that must be done alone. So there is a rite of passage here. This is about you learning about you. But I feel like you're in a voracious period for knowledge right now. Like, what did that mean? Why did they say that? Looking back on old messages, perhaps, wondering even if they've got someone else, because this is a card of rivalry. I mean, looking at the energy, I don't see this person as anyone else. That's what I'm seeing. This person right now, I feel like this person was very lost when you met them. And they were trying to figure out who they wanted to be or what they wanted to do. And I feel this person, they crave stability, but when things go too well, they find fault, or they are constantly looking for the fly in the ointment. So this person will, when everything's going really well, they will almost like pick a way out of it, or they preempt that it's just going to go really wrong anyway. So it shifts the dynamic. They're so changeable. And I feel this comes from their upbringing, is what I'm being shown right now. Interesting, because there's a stork on this card right here, but I'm seeing in the water a stork delivering a baby. Okay, so it's highlighting to me right from birth, right from the very beginning, this person has lived in very changeable circumstances, and they never knew where they were at, so they got comfortable with the cycle of change, not really connecting to anything or following anything through, is what I'm seeing. And this is something that has been passed down in a generation. Okay, and again, there's no blame here. Past generations, nobody comes to this lifetime with a manual of how to do life, so we cannot point fingers. We do not know the circumstances. I feel like everyone tries to do the best with the circumstances that they've got in that moment, and fears can shape our responses, and uncertainty, all of the stuff. So I feel this person, they're going through a bit of an awakening right now. You are as well to some degree, but I feel like your shift needs to come a little bit towards yourself, because I feel like this person is on your mind sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And I feel a lot of you are conflicted as to whether you should, walk away, because the Six of Swords is you've been tested in this connection and you're trying to work out why. Why have you been tested? Why did this happen? Why did you meet your twin flame? Why was it this person? With the Five of Wands there, it's really interesting because it's almost like I'm getting, if you knew then what you know now, maybe you would have chosen someone else. Because I feel for some of you, you're actually someone who's super attractive. You get a lot of attention, and it's almost like you're questioning right now that you fell for the wrong person or you let the wrong person in. I feel like you actually let the right person in. The twin flame dynamic is meant to occur. It is meant to spin you off into a period of separation. And a lot of you may feel a little bit lost in that, or bereft, or feeling like you're drifting with this because you're seeking to understand. But I feel, it is hard to accept that twins will push away, because it's like they push away, which triggers you finding your own radiance or finding your own path without fear. So this is you being very explorative, trying new avenues or opening up to new pathways right now, because this is a card of being in uncharted territory. So with the books, it can indicate that suddenly you have a thirst for knowledge, to learn about something that's not connected to the twin flame dynamic. Some of you may be like writing a book, for example. Whenever you get the book, especially in a twin flame dynamic, this can be like historical cycles of repeat that you're trying to break away from, generational patterns. So a lot of you may be witnessing that within this twin flame dynamic, whether it's to do with your person. I definitely see your person has a generational cycle that they are lost in right now. Okay, I feel like you're disconnected from yours with this book energy. I mean, this card indicates discovery, secrets. So I feel like you may be digging a little bit deeper into this person to understand why this has occurred. I feel they're not hiding anything apart from a feeling of self-loathing, perhaps, an abandonment issue. but they may have told you about this. I mean, if you look up the meaning of the Five of Pentacles, it is all about abandonment or feeling like they lack something within themselves, that they feel unworthy in some way. They've been the victim of something, and there's a sadness there. It may even be darker than I'm allowed to dig, let's put it that way. But I feel this person's gone through some stuff, a lot of hardship, okay? And again, there's no excuse here, but I feel this person has like been shaped by very tough environments. So very strict parents, for example, or guardians there. This person wasn't allowed to express themselves. They were very kind of like contained. You brought out a passion in them that they were almost afraid of, okay? An intensity. You made them feel things that they'd never felt before. It felt very overwhelming. They felt like they had to shut it down for some reason. And I will pull a card as to why, because it was very kind of like, there's an energy here with this person where they're comfortable with just like freewheeling, like being in an energy where if they don't know, they don't know, it's fine. But when they get locked down or, you know, things get solid, that's when they panic, like they need an exit. And that could be in a contract, it can be in a friendship, it can be in a relationship, it can be in even confined spaces. This person needs to know where the exit's at. Okay, so that's definitely a fear, and it's something that I feel is a little bit deeper than perhaps we should go. So we won't go into that unless it comes up there. But let's get back to your energy, because the Five of Wands, you've got options, right? Five of Wands indicates that other people are interested in you, but you're kind of really connected to your twin. And that's why you're conflicted right now as to whether you should stay, whether you should go. I mean, the Five of Wands, it almost feels like this twin flame dynamic has been a little bit of an inner battleground for you, that it has really like challenged you. I feel there's a lot on your mind. You're intrigued by this person because you know there's something deeper here. But at the same time, you are conflicted because this has caused you tension. It's caused you to be in fight or flight mode yourself. This is triggering something within you. So I feel, my beautiful Scorpio, this is a period of recognizing it's a mirrored experience. This person is amplifying fears within yourself in order for you to learn more about yourself and heal something. And for some of you, because this Five of Wands is there, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, I feel that your person's kind of like job in this twin flame connection, if there is such a job, shall we say, is that for some of you, I want to say it's not jealousy, right? I feel it's like this sense of preempting that someone could take your partner. Maybe this is something that you have feared in your past, that it's like you trust yourself and your partner, but it's other people you don't trust. Someone's always trying to lure away your partner, or people look at you and think, wow, that Scorpio is awesome. They're with that person, so they must be like super awesome. So I want that person, because if Scorpio wants that person, then I want that person. There's just this energy coming out, like maybe one of your fears is that other people try and take your partners, or you fear that everyone is a threat to the union, and not in a way that there's paranoia, but I feel there could be an open wound within you, my beautiful Scorpio, regarding that. And I want you to be aware that when the dynamics are balanced and true, no one can ever take away your partner. I feel with your energy with your person right now that you're with, I mean, I'm reading for a specific energy that's coming through, so this may not resonate with everyone, but I have to honor what's coming through right now. I feel, looking at the cards, even though this person is inconsistent, no one ever gets close to them. They don't want anyone else. You know, this is a card that highlights something was blossoming with you, and you actually brought out the best in them, but also it made them fear the worst in them. And they cut it short for some reason. They regret that. Five of Pentacles is always an energy of, you know, regretting loss, or, you know, there's a need here. This person almost got afraid of how much they need you in their life. Okay? And they needed to go, whoa, 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 I don't need anybody. So why am I feeling this? So this person's got this, like, it's like they're driving in life and suddenly they're putting the brakes on because they realize that to live without you is going to cause pain. To live with you, knowing that you could leave them, is even more pain. To feel like they're not strong enough, because there's a vulnerability about this person, to feel like they're not strong enough to not need you. Because there's something, maybe even codependent, I'm not sure, but there's a neediness here with this person. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something where two people have a very similar kind of fear of losing each other. I mean, you've both got fives here. Fives are always conflict, worry, fears, overthinking. And it's almost like both of you fear other people infiltrating the relationship and taking the partner away. So I've also got on your person's energy that they feel like they're not enough, so they fear that someone is going to take you away. And I feel in that dynamic, both of you have lost sight of how both of you choose each other or have chosen each other to be the twin. I feel both of you will find your way back towards being with each other and have confidence within that. But looking at the energy, I feel like you're a little bit more detached right now with this person. This person's feeling completely lost, but they are looking at the love that they feel like they destroyed. Whereas you have loved and you feel like you've lost, but you're conflicted and you're like, you know what? I'm putting that behind me. I'm moving on. I'm detaching. I feel like you've mastered an art of detachment that can be quite scary, but also, I mean, I'm a Scorpio, I understand that. So it is a self-preservation mode, but also I feel like you've detached and it was painful. It was hard. This hurt you. To move on from this hurts more than anything, but I feel like you are taking back your power. You realize that you cannot exist in this uncertainty. You're the sort of person who needs to know. So it's like you need to know, so therefore it's time to move away or check out your alternative options because you feel like this is stagnant. It's not going anywhere right now. And you've left under a cloud. It feels heavy. You don't want to leave this connection, but you've been left with no other choice there. And you're trying to learn, what's the lesson in this? Why has there been such a battle here? Why is it so hard? It doesn't have to be so hard. But when you've got hurt people trying to love each other, I mean, I've actually got this energy of hurt people not wanting to hurt people, if you know what I mean. Because there is that sentence, hurt people, they hurt people. Especially ones that are close to them that they love. But that can feel like a bit of a cop-out. It can feel like a bit of an excuse. But I feel I've got two people here who have been hurt before in different ways, trying not to hurt each other. And almost what I've got from your person is this energy, you don't want to know me, okay? Because I destroy everything that I connect to, or destruction and chaos follows me everywhere I go. And they're like, you don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to get involved in that. And that's their way of saying, I'm keeping myself safe. I feel overwhelmed in my emotions. You don't want to know me. But the little voice within them, that little inner child is like, I want you to know me. I want you to see me. I want you to understand that I'm struggling with something right now and I'm pushing you away out of fear. But there's this energy. And again, we all heal in different ways. It's not that I feel like they're seeking validation, but it's almost like, when someone tests a relationship and says, I can't do this anymore, and they're really at breaking point with something within themselves. And the last thing they want to do is leave, but they say, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. I just got to go. And they're just waiting for someone, because I'm just getting that song, very famous song, Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You. It's almost like they don't want to give up on the union. You don't want to give up on the union, but it's like you've waited for such a long time and there's so many turbulent emotions here that both parties are dealing with. Very complex energy. This person is very inconsistent. I feel like they're actually out of rhythm with their life right now as well. But if they were to say in front of you right now, I'm leaving, I can't do this, I'm walking away, the real subtext is save this relationship. Let me know I matter. Let me know I'm important. That's what I'm feeling from this person's undercurrent. I know it's random and I know it feels counterproductive to what, twin flames sometimes are like, but I feel there's something that this person has gone through where they are seeking validation, I guess, but I don't feel like they are conscious of saying, I want an ego rub. I feel they genuinely feel like they are not enough. They feel like they are not worthy of your love. You make them feel like they're on top of the world, but it feels like it's so inconsistent. It's like they're wanting the relationship, then suddenly talk themselves out of it. I also feel like they're trying. They're looking at their options. I mean, I feel both of you actually have options. If you wanted to go with other people, I feel like you could, both of you. But there's something here that's keeping this stagnant because both of you are trying to work out something in order to find what is the bond, because there's such a strong bond here. I mean, you may feel this person's a game player because you've got the chess board right there. And I feel there is this protagonist energy because this is like, thank you so much, I'm so grateful. I'm not sure if any of you have actually received a message from this person because if you haven't, you will be shortly is what I'm being given. And I'm actually being given this song that is very famous by Elvis Presley, Return to Sender, Address Unknown, No Such Person, No Such Zone is what I'm being given. Now, either this is like you are going quiet on them. You can't do this anymore, so you're moving on. You're becoming the runner in this connection. So a lot of you, it took a lot to get to this point in the first place, is what I'm seeing there. But I feel there's a lot of conflict in that. So it can be that this person's going to message you, which I do see happening here. We've got that King of Swords energy and the Queen of Wands. And I mean, I feel, and I may be out of turn, this message, when they send it to you, it kind of lights you up a little bit is what I'm seeing there. But at the same time, you're like, no, there's a self-preservation mode where it's like, no, I need to think about this. And you may like, I mean, for some of you, you may have blocked this person, or I just feel like there's this energy of like, no, nobody here. I don't exist anymore. Almost like maybe you're teaching this person what a life without you means or what it really is. You can't have access to me unless you come good. I'm gone. That's what I'm getting here. And you're conflicted about this. Six of Swords, you've definitely been tested, and you're also in the rite of passage of this connection. You were meant to separate with this person because you were meant to think more about yourself. You're meant to learn more about yourself. There's a path of education here for you about learning the human psyche, people's actions and motivations, to learn to heal that part of you that may preempt sometimes that other people are going to steal away your partner. So either you've had an experience of that, or maybe this is something from your childhood, or perhaps it's a worry. Maybe it's something that just got triggered within you because you feel so much for this person, that you're so invested in this connection that it sort of rose a fear. You don't know why you feel that way. And again, there may be a lot of Scorpios shaking your head right now going, I don't feel that. So perhaps I'm not picking up on your energy, but that's what I'm picking up in this particular connection. It feels like a very deep-rooted core fear. But this person doesn't want anyone else but you. But they're just needing to get out of their own way in some way in order to find their way back to you. But listen out for those songs. They may be relevant. You may hear them before you have a message from your person. This person is a deep thinker. They're going to think for a long time, and they're going to message you. I see a message coming through. But the Six of Swords is like movement. I feel a lot of you are trying to move on. Like that anchor is to retain your emotional control, as it were, to kind of acknowledge that there's nothing happening here, so you're maybe seeking love elsewhere or putting yourself in a position to kind of move on there. Some of you may literally be relocating, or you're at a physical distance from this person. But Six of Swords is an energy that you just feel that this person's going to repeat a cycle and repeat a cycle and repeat a cycle, and you're done. That's what I'm getting here from your energy. Now, your person's got the stork, so there's sudden movement, improvement. There's a flurry of activity with this person, but a lot of their challenges and their abandonment issues have come from a very young age, not just in romantic relationships, something in their family unit, in their lineage is there, okay? So they always felt like they were misunderstood or on the outskirts looking in. They didn't fit in is what I'm being given here, and you really saw them. You really understood them, and you didn't judge them either is something that's coming through there as well. They've got number 17, which is the star energy. They're doing some healing. This is going to help them make major progress. But when you get the stork, it means there's a long time patiently waiting. This person, as I said, they feel like they thought you would message. They thought you would come forward, and you didn't. There's like radio silence here. There's two people, it comes back to that image of two people with their arms out like, I want to be with you, but something's not fitting, something's not connecting in some way. You're just out of reach of each other. But I feel there will be a connection in the future. There's definitely communication. Okay, I would say the next 6 weeks here that Both of you retain a single energy, but I do see that there's communication, and I feel like your person waited for communication for a long time, but it didn't come. And I feel this is going to help them spring into action and say, I can't do this anymore. This person is like, you know, they're overcome in the moment and they feel the need to kind of suddenly message. And they're going to message about how they have been going through a period of feeling lost, because this person feels like they're lost in some way. And when they met you, they were lost. And I feel this person has had trouble discovering their true life's mission or path in some way. But the stork indicates that they are making some improvements in their life. And suddenly, I feel like a long time it's taken for them to get to this point. But the stork energy tends to mean that, you know, this person observes. They may have been watching your social media. If you're on social media, they've been just checking out to see if you've got anyone else. You know, this person, it feels like both of you have very similar kind of fears here with this. But this is a renewal, a transition. They're going through some sort of change in their life that they know is long overdue. However, they do have the Two of Pentacles. That means that they are looking, they're observing their inconsistencies, how, you know, they've gone round and round in circles, how they did not have balance in their life. I feel like they're trying to find that balance in their life there. I feel this person has been lost in a world of indecision in their life. And I feel that this person, their life, it developed in very unexpected ways, as it were. And I feel like this person, there's a lot of worry with this person. They worry that they feel stable, then not. Stable, then not. So it's like there's no guarantees in relationships. One of their fears is, how will I know if they're all in? How will I know if they truly love me? Because this person does not love themselves. You know, when you have a Five of Pentacles, it talks about self-loathing, you know, abandonment issues, almost as well, kind of like ignoring their feelings, abandoning themselves sometimes at what their body is telling them they need or they desire or they feel. And I feel they are very changeable in their energy, but I do feel their love deep down was consistent, but they just didn't express it or they didn't allow it to blossom out of fear. And you cannot love another person unless you love yourself. And there's self-loathing with this person, you know, and they may have talked about, you know, their feelings about themselves. They may have even questioned you, like, why do you love me? What is it about me? And it wasn't an ego rub. I feel this person is asking for some sort of validation. And whilst that can be, you know, immature in some ways, we have to acknowledge that we can only meet each other as deeply as we meet ourselves. And you have a lot of depth to you, my beautiful Scorpio. I mean, you are an ocean, okay? And that anchor, you know, it got lowered pretty deep there for this person. You got in deep. And that's why it's so challenging to, you know, move on, because the emotions are still there. Love, it doesn't die, but it transformed here. It's almost like you had to make it transform or get your own closure on this. And you've been waiting, but I feel like you're fed up of waiting. You've been getting on with your life. You've been challenging yourself. You've been getting out there and trying to make a way for yourself in life. So you haven't been sitting there darning your socks by candlelight waiting for this person to message. Not at all. But I feel that this person actually really thought that if they kind of withdrew because of their fears, they thought that you would come seeking. But actually a Scorpio doesn't chase. Okay, they're dealing with a different type of person when they're dealing with a Scorpio. And it's like you didn't reach out and chase. You may have like reached out to understand or express yourself, to know what is going on and try and fix the relationship. You may have tried to hold on to this relationship for quite some time. But, you know, I feel with that Two of Pentacles, there's an energy here of this person juggling life, you know, feeling like they're not able to sustain something. I also have this energy of overspending with this person. So there's something about debt here with this person. So either they've got like secret debt or hidden debt, or they have gambling issues, or they are someone who feels that love is a gamble. You know, there's an energy of loss, because this card is all about loss or debt or poverty or need, deficiency. So I'm going to pull a quick card on this because I also feel this person, you know, the lights are on in this card because it highlights an awakening. They're looking, they're observing, they're seeing where they've been inconsistent, how they regret this knee-jerk reaction. So I need to see what it is because right now it's not 100% clear with this person. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? This twin flame, what is the Five of Pentacles offering at this time? What is it about? Page of Wands. So something from their youth there, that spark, passion. I feel like there's something about being so reserved about their expression. So they may have grown up in a very strict household. Don't express yourself, you know, don't talk until you're talked to. It's just something about them being shut down when they were younger. But also I feel there is that rite of passage. You and your person are meant to focus on your sense of purpose. Yeah, this person feels like they're lost, so they lacked purpose when they met you, because this is a card of connecting to your life's mission or purpose, having a calling there. But it also highlights this person saw you as a loyal mate and they were loyal to you. Got the Tower and the Devil. So this person needed to break out of a toxic pattern or cycle of repeat. They were stuck in something. Now, either it's gambling for some of you, it can be that, or it can be substances with that devil energy, you know, negative attachments there. But the devil card is fear itself. It can be that they got caught in some sort of structure of fear with that tower. I mean, the tower is a leap of faith. It is a surprise. It actually is, you know, a construct that we build to keep ourselves locked in our comfort zone. So I feel your person, you know, they were lost, but they were comfortable with kind of like freewheeling in life. And then suddenly the love of a Scorpio came into their life and it was like, boom. It was like this intensity. I mean, the devil card can be like lust. It can be this pleasure, you know, and they were wondering, is this love? Is this lust? What's happening here? Is this something that is stable? Because the tower is like, are we on solid ground here, or is it all just going to crumble away? And I feel like they were just overwhelmed and shocked with intensity, passion, and the tower, it breaks the devil energy. So the devil is to feel stuck in something, but it is to identify where you feel fear or stuck in a rut or attached to something that is toxic, cycle repeat, for example. And the tower is to liberate, to break free. It is to, you know, break past an illusion and really own your truth. So I feel right now, this person, they see what they've lost. They see how they influenced the relationship and how their actions have consequences, and they regret it. That's what I'm seeing here. Now, the outcome energy, I mean, even off the back of that Page of Wands there, that's a loyal mate, someone who's loyal to you. No one could hold a candle to you. That's what I'm being given by my guides for this reading, my beautiful Scorpio. And this outcome energy, this is a soulmate card in the Lenormand deck. So it means, you know, companionship, friendship, truth, honesty, loyalty, faithfulness, and, you know, a person who is a twin, basically, someone who's meant to be with you in this lifetime. And that's the outcome energy. So I feel both of you wanting to be loyal to each other, wanting to settle down with each other. It is a potential and a possibility, but I feel there needs to be a conversation, accountability. I do see that you and your person will have a conversation in your future. All is not lost in this connection. You may feel very detached from this. You may ruminate on this message that comes forward, but deep at its core, I feel both of you, there is this desire to be by each other's side. You know, there is this protective energy almost. And I know that sounds like it doesn't make sense when you've got 2 5s here. There's a lot of conflict going on, and both of you need to kind of resolve the conflict within yourselves before you can move forward. And I feel like you've done, you know, a more advanced job of that than your twin. Your twin is in some way playing catch up, because at least you're moving on from a conflict. You're learning, you are evolving, you're going through a spiritual awakening with this as well. Your person is very inconsistent. One minute they're like awakened, they're observing. The next minute they are struggling with how they feel about themselves. So I would say this person is a work in progress right now. I mean, we all are. We're all the student of life there. But number 18 is the moon energy, which means There's a lot of uncertainty, feeling very unclear, a lot of fear there. But when it comes down to it, there's loyalty, there's companionship. There is an energy where both of you can kind of try to understand each other's fears. You know, the dog offers unconditional love. So I feel you and your person will come back to each other at some point. I would say, looking at the energy, within the next 6 weeks, there is a conversation about fixing this relationship, mending, healing. And I feel both of you, especially since the Four of Swords is there, that's the pause. That's the respite, taking a break from this connection. It feels very much like it's the end of it, but actually it's not. It is the process of it. And I feel that this gives you both time to think. This tells me that both of you will remain single or separate in the energy, but you can come back together and be a unit, be a relationship together, because I feel like both of you are going to try and make this work. And even though I feel like both of you are people who could attract a lot of other attention, I feel both of you come back to each other. You just want each other at the core of it. But looking at your person, they just want to know that they're safe and secure in a relationship. They're seeking this validation, but they need to seek that validation within themselves first and trigger unconditional love before they can sustain a union with you. So I feel like you'll remain separate. The Four of Swords can indicate you're both very independent. You don't need this person, my beautiful Scorpio, but you want this person. This person, they kind of right now feel like they need you. Okay, and they need to get to a point where you're at, where you're like, okay, I don't need you, I want you, I choose you. So there may be some sort of codependency here that this person needs to look at. Now we have the Queen of Wands, which is to allow yourself to be seen. Now there's two people here, okay, and this reading is about you two. So I would say that this is coming together to understand. The King of Swords has a needle and thread there, and that's all about mending, of course, and there's lots of stars there. So there's definitely a conversation about healing, but also a desire to fix something here. And I feel like you're going to be very detached when you get this message from your person. But with that Queen of Wands energy, it indicates that they are drawn to you. They're magnetized towards you. They find you physically attractive, as well as there is a depth. You know, you meet them on the same level mentally as well, is what I'm being given here. But I feel this is a couple energy. You know, what I'm being given is like fire and ice. Okay, so very steamy connection, very intense, very passionate, but sometimes the emotions cancel each other out in some way. And I feel like your person's trying to understand that. Also, I mean, these two cards together, you can see the bees there. Lots of wonderful bees. So it can indicate you'll both work hard to make this connection work. You can be happy with each other, but there is a need to understand each other from a different level, but also a need to speak one's truth, express one's fears. You know, if you and this person at the very beginning of this relationship, if your person had just spoke about why they took a little baby step back, then at least you'd know. And I feel like you just felt the energy of them stepping back. And at the core of this, there is a misunderstanding. And I feel it comes down to loyalty and an abandonment issue, as well as this energy from your person. It's like they feel like they're not enough. It feels like you outshine them, or that you are someone who has a lot of light within yourself, and they feel like you give them permission to shine, but they're cautious. They need more confidence within themselves. So I mean, look at that. We've got the peacock there, which is basically to peacock yourself, allow yourself to be seen. I feel that's on both sides there, to know that you're both attractive, both inside and out. But it's more than that. You're meeting each other on a very deep cerebral level as well, a heart space level. So there can be healing here. But I feel both of you got a little bit comfortable with a cycle repeat. It's like you knew how things were going to work out. You were aware of it, but I feel now you're fed up of this cycle repeat, and you're like, I'm moving on unless actions speak louder than words. So can you come together in a union in the future? The answer is yes, but I would say in the next 6 weeks, you know, there's going to be a message and some sort of communication. But I feel like there's this energy of like, if you step away again, or if this happens again, I'm gone. that's something that just popped out there as well. So I don't want to lose you, we've got coming out here. Now this deck is interesting because it'll throw up any conversations that have been left unsaid there. Oh, okay. So afraid of rejection. I mean, sometimes, I mean, we're all very complex humans, right? It says here, I am so afraid of rejection. Okay. And sometimes when a person is afraid of rejection, what they'll do is they'll push a person away because they retain control. Control of their ego, of their emotions, you know. And I feel that's what your person did. They pushed. My guides asked me to go one more, so I am going one more. So we've got, I don't want to lose you. And I feel this person didn't want to lose you. But they are like restricting themselves, restricting their emotions, perhaps not even being honest with their emotions, but now they're observant. They're looking at their true feelings and this knee-jerk reaction that I can't really quite put my finger on, but maybe it is a fear of rejection there. Okay. But I really feel they don't want to lose you. I can't get you out of my head. I feel this person, especially since the King of Swords has popped up there, I feel both of you can't actually get each other out of your head. You've tried, my beautiful Scorpio, but I feel like this person keeps coming back on in there. I've already seen this one. I'm so afraid of rejection there. And I'm thinking about making you an offer. Now, it's not like an offer to go on a date or anything like that. I mean, I feel like they are going to message you to meet up. I feel like they want to give you some clarity. I feel like in the space in between, they have had quality time to think. And I feel that this person, the offer that I feel is coming through here on this occasion is that they're going to give you some clarity, some information about their fears, where they feel like they're not enough. They didn't feel like they were good enough for you. That's why they were asking, you know, why are you in love with me? Or they may have felt, or even said that, you know what, you do better without me, or something like that. I'm just being given this energy. All of the sentences that have led to them protecting their heart so they don't get hurt. And I mean, it hurts still because you're both in a 5 energy. So it just hurts in a different way. The regrets. So finally we've got the handcuff. So you're bonded to each other, but I feel that, of course, there is freedom because there's only one handcuff here. So I feel a lot of you, my beautiful Scorpio, you're becoming the runner. So you're setting yourself free from this connection, which means your person is going to come towards you. Remember the magnets, you know, both identical in polarity. But as soon as you change the frequency here by putting all that energy, time, and devotion inwards on your purpose path, that's when you change the frequency. And then this magnet, your twin, comes towards you and is given an opportunity to step up or step out. I also feel like your person is going to tell you about seeking help for something that they have been bound to for a while, because this is definitely, you know, trinket that connects to the devil card. Feeling stuck in something or bound to something, or feeling powerless in a situation to change something, locked in. But I feel like they're trying to set themselves free. So whether it's from substances or maybe fear itself. So please apply it to your situation. But the handcuff, it's only one. So I feel like you're detaching, my beautiful Scorpio, and it is highlighting that your person is needing to step up. And you're on their mind, so they're going to reach out with a message. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates there for you, my beautiful Scorpio. Thank you so much, and love and light.